Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Happy Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Sierra, and today we are joined by someone who's very fascinating and has a really cool topic for us today, Miss Robin Dimond. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, Robin is the CEO and founder of Fifth and Core. We're going to talk about that name in a second, what that means. But she's a marketing and innovation expert, and she brings over 18 years of marketing experience. That's led to a successful team and client success stories over the years. She's super passionate about the human experience and strives to bring sensory experiences and heart back to all her team's work. Thus comes the name Fifth, Five Senses, and Core,
Yes.
Latin for heart. For those of us sort of Spanish speakers and Italian speakers, it's like very cool. She strives not only to transform brands, but also communities. She sits on 4 school boards, participates in various charities, and finds opportunities to empower the next generation through technology and marketing advancement. Diamond is also involved in the technology advancement in South Florida and is a member of the Female Founder Collective, where she finds opportunities to uplift other women-owned businesses. Is there anything you don't do?
No, not, I don't think so. No, I'm really trying to get involved in our community, and I think we've added 5 other groups to it. So part of Entreprenista, Daily Drip, Ms. Esquire as well. So trying to get out in the community and really make a difference.
Love that. So tell us about the story of of how you came into this role, how you got into the industry, and your education background, early years, and
Okay.
uh, high level.
High level. All right. So Fifth and Core was actually, I was sitting on Fifth and Broad in Nashville, Tennessee, when I came up with the name, and the company actually existed. I'm a spin off of the old tech company I used to work for. So I was blessed enough to be able to buy out and transition from my old owner, which I'm super excited. He's amazing. Was allowed to do that. So I took on the business. And when we're coming up with a name, we were in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was sitting there and I was just sensing everything. And that's why you said 5 senses. So Fifth represents the 5 senses. It was the music, it was the food, it was the people laughing, and I saw everything. And that's where I knew marketing had to stop being a billboard or stop being flat and had to start going back into people. And it's kind of like you, people first. Marketing should be about the people. It's not just about the numbers. And then core is Latin for heart. And you need courage to be an owner. And so every morning, it's the core of who we are. It's the heart of our business is to give back to other business owners. And so Fifth and Core was the name. I looked it up. That's where we got it from. We signed on that name right away. A little bit about me to talk about experience. I used to own restaurants. So I am a foodie. I'm a winey. I love the food. I believe food is a love language. It's not actually one, but it should be the 6th love language because you can go through any diversity through people. You can feed people and you can see who they are. And so I truly believe that. So I had restaurants, love marketing, went to school for business, didn't know what I wanted to do with that. So I got a business and a psychology degree. So I have 2 degrees, and you need to know how people work to be able to talk to them and sell to them and to be able to be the best marketer. So that's a little bit about who we are as a company. I hire people who are smarter than me, and I will say that all day, every day. They will outperform, outsmart. I do believe we're a stopping ground, so I don't think people will stay with us forever. We're part of their journey. So I try to share it about like being a mom. You want your kid to go away and go to college. You raise them, you teach them, and that's who we are as a fundamental, but we want them to change businesses out there, just like I had the opportunity to.
There's so many things I could go into right now. First off, I'm also a fellow foodie. I
Okay,
100% agree.
then
Should
we
be
should
the
do
6th
that.
love language.
It should
Yes,
be.
no, that'll be a whole episode too. I love your perspective of how you talk about your staff, about how we're a stopping ground. We're one step in their journey to help them go on and do that next thing and transform more businesses. And I really like the part where you talk about your experience as a founder, right? You own a marketing agency now. You've owned restaurants. Did you always know that you wanted to be a business owner and an entrepreneur?
So I always had that entrepreneur heart ever since I was a kid. My parents will tell you I was selling blow pops out of my backpack, got in trouble at school. So I love that entrepreneur mindset. I was not ready for it when it came to me again. In another opportunity, I was like, nope, this is my forever home. I'm going to stay with my old company with that. I was not expecting to do this again. And being an entrepreneur is extremely hard. And I don't think people know how hard it is. You basically lose yourself for the business. And so until you're ready to do that, um, I wasn't ready to do it again. I had already just done it. And I was like, I'm good. But I'm so happy for the experience.
Again, there's so many things that we could lean into, but I love the backstory. You have your 4 kind of pillars. I don't know exactly how you would describe them, but I want to start by talking about your high level marketing ethos
Okay.
and what your kind of your main platform is. Your 4 key marketing recommendations. You talk about authenticity, value, subtlety, and personality. Correct?
Yeah. So authenticity, and everyone will hear me say this no matter where I am, be unapologetically authentic. And that goes a long way, especially for brands who are figuring themselves out, no matter what industry they are, unapologetically authentic. And for you guys, it's people first, which I love, and walking around the building and seeing that. But for us, it's really finding out who you are and then being able to sell that. That's a huge pillar in marketing and what people should focus on.
What are the key themes of authenticity, and why does it matter so much specifically in a healthcare setting?
So in a healthcare setting, people want to relate to who they're talking about. And I think that's really important. I don't say everyone should be a TikTok dancer. You should be educating. You should help. And why do people go to social media? To be educated, to be entertained, to be evaluated in their business, or to create an experience. So if you fit into one of those categories, it is really good for your business. Some people are not going to be a TikTok dancer, nor should they. My vet for me right now, I have 3 little chihuahuas. My vet is the most down to earth person, makes me feel safe, allows my animals to feel safe. They're like, she relates to everybody. Um, Nothing's over, like even explaining the meds that I have to give my dogs. She makes it so easy. And that's what her social media looks like. That's who she is when she goes out there. For a plastic surgeon, it's bedside manner. I want to know if I'm picking to do a surgery that it's that bedside manner. Dental is one of those things that please just be who you are in dental. I'm scared to go to the dentist, which is terrible. I know. I totally know that. So to have,
Common.
it's so common. So to be able to talk about that, I see there's a dentist that we work with that's really for children and makes everything fun and playable and talks about those kind of things. You have this person who is really who they are in real life.
What would you say to somebody who's nervous about being authentic? Like they feel like they're maybe scared to be vulnerable and like share those parts themselves, or like they have to be like just professional, robotic.
I think we're all done being the Stepford wives or the perfect people. We want someone who's relatable. If you're a doctor and you're a foodie, I want to see you doing food and explaining things. If like use your personality, and that's going to really help you. I think I was scared to be vulnerable. People say, "Oh, you look like a walking Barbie," and I'm like, "But I'm not. I'm the one who steps on stage and trips. I'm the one who is like," and I want people to see that side of me, and that's what we kind of call it the good, bad, and ugly of being an entrepreneur. I want you to see all the sides. I want you to see that I'm cold plunging in the morning before I get on a call, because if I can do that and it's super hard, I can do anything throughout the rest of my day. I want you to see me fail at my workout so that you know that I'm failing at some jobs. I tell my team I've missed some things. This past week, I totally missed a lead and follow up. Totally missed it. Don't even know how I went through my whole email, but be authentic. Be authentic with your staff and be authentic to the public. People will love you more.
I totally agree. I mean, it's like they want you to be exactly who you are. Like
Yeah.
I think of like my dentist and my doctor. Like I go to you because of exactly who you are, not because of who you pretend to be.
Yes.
Like so lean into that and own who you are and own your story because that's just going to attract similar like-minded people, or people that are looking for that. So we've talked about authenticity.
Hmm.
There's 3 other key parts of your model: value, subtlety, and personality. Let's talk about value.
Okay. Value, bring value to whoever you're working with, your customers, your patients, bring value to them. Educate them. That's what people want. And they want to be educated quickly. Gone are the days of 45-minute long videos. We don't have that. It's a quick scroll. I blame the dating apps. I blame social media. It is that quick scroll. So bring value, who you are, bring it to your business and your practice. So if it's things for veterinarians, things you should feed your dogs, things you should not feed your dogs, how to take care of your animals during, the cold winter months or the extreme heat in South Florida, bring value so that people keep coming back to you. For a plastic surgeon, talk about those things. For a med spa owner, maybe talk about IV therapy, talk about hormone replacement, talk about the big crash. If you do this, what will be what will come after that? So we've saw the Ozempic boom. Well, what are you supposed to look for after that, after being 6 months on Ozempic? Talk about that and bring value to your patients or your clients.
Well, especially in the context of case acceptance too.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about a doctor or an office that's struggling with their case acceptance rate, right? A lot of times it's articulating the value to them of like why it's important to do this treatment plan.
And do a treatment plan, do a roadmap, and talk about that openly. And it's not for everyone, but help people educate themselves.
What are some ways that you've seen practitioners be really good at helping patients educate themselves?
There is one that I've seen that I mean, there's several I've seen, but one that just dominates over it. And she breaks down what happens. So like she talks about the good, bad, and ugly. She talks about the downtime that you're gonna have, what to expect after that downtime, and what your roadmap's gonna look like. And so she's constantly educating her patients, or maybe they're not even her patients, to wait for her or to come out with the newest techniques. She'll say, hey, this is a new product that hit the market, but wait, let me try it on myself. And she shows before and afters of herself and the downtime, and I'm just like, you know what? You're crushing it. Again, completely authentic. Injector Bunny is her name. I talk about her on podcasts. I don't know her. She's not one of my clients, but just does a great job putting herself out in the public, completely transparent.
I mean, it sounds like education and value go hand in hand.
Yes, it does, because you're bringing something. It's a value of life. What do you bring to your family? Value as a person, as a human. And I think we just try to make it so difficult, and it's really super simple.
It is, yeah, and especially the approach that you take makes it really simple and approachable, and I think people need that because people approach these businesses and try and overcomplicate things when in reality, you're dealing with people who, yes, are complex people, but there's some really straightforward, well-trodden paths that you can have to success in a lot of these areas. Yeah. Let's talk about subtlety. I'm very interested in this one. I've never heard anyone talk about this before.
Everyone wants to push sales. Stop pushing sales or stop pushing. Be subtle. It's like going on a date. So I'm gonna give you that example as a going on a date. You don't put everything out there right away, do you? No, you're subtle. You literally lead up to it. And that's what you should do in your business. You don't need to put everything on the line. You don't have to tell everybody everything. You don't have to be so sales and direct. People come into your practice, people will grow with you. They'll learn from you if you just educate, obviously be authentic, give them value, and then you're subtle in what you want. Lean into it. Don't Some people are like, "This is my percentage, you have to get it right now." And I'm like, "Come on, what are you doing? Just lead into it."
Well, it's a longer term relationship too.
It is. They're gonna stay with you for a while.
And you don't wanna, like, burn that bridge on the first go, especially in a market like healthcare. Everything is relationship based.
Yes.
Your relationships with other providers, with your patients, how they interact with you. I mean, you like
With your staff.
exactly with your
You don't wanna
staff.
have this turnover, so it's like dating. Go into it, share things, don't overshare right away.
Turn the knob up one. I've
Just a
heard it's
little
like
there.
yeah, it's like a volume, thing on a stereo, like you turn up one notch at a time, and then the other person turns it up one notch at a time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, exactly.
I love that, okay? And then fourth, personality. Love this.
Who you are is who you are. What your personality is, and if your personality, like we met downstairs, right? And it's like the riff back and forth, and it's so exciting because that's our personality. And your personality is who you are made to be. Be that. Show your personality, and it goes back to being authentic. Whatever your personality is, if you're a weirdo and you're a gamer, then be a gamer. Share those things. If you're, I'm a dorkfish. That's what we call it. That's what my parents call me. I'm a dorkfish, and my friends know that. And I am. I will nerd out with you hardcore, and that's who I am in my personality. And I don't try to hide it. I'll overeducate or I'll talk about augmented reality. So we talked about marketing of our company. We have the innovation department. So I'll talk about augmented reality. I'll talk about where artificial intelligence is going and how to pull it back into your marketing strategy. I'll talk about 3D renderings and all of those things. People are like, okay, I didn't know that. They're all technology and marketing are one big circle. And so be who you are and show your personality.
Tell me more about that, how technology and marketing are all one big circle.
Okay, everyone's seeing the advancements going there. And so I don't work with like tech of like coding. I'm talking about where augmented reality is going. Okay. So we look at marketing. How are you going to be pumping that through? Whether we have a restaurant in Indianapolis that has their oysters. And you scan over a QR code and you actually can see where each oyster has come from and what wine should be paired with it. In a practice, we have what treatments you should do. And so you scan over it while you're getting numbed and you actually can see what treatments. We've done augmented reality for a dog food brand and talked about where the ingredients are coming from and what kind of dog should have it. because it sticks with people. People have a 78% chance of more retaining. They'll retain it 78 more times if they're actually being able to see something that they can interact with. We talk about artificial intelligence. We've been using artificial intelligence for decades. And people think it's because ChatGPT blew up. It's new, but it's really not. It's actually how you talk into things. So when I talk about being authentic, how you talk into your phone, how you ask Siri for things, how you Google things on Pinterest, make those easy for your clients or your patients to look up. So that goes into your marketing. How do people talk? They don't look up blepharoplasty. No one can spell that, right? They actually say eyelid surgery. So use it to talk to it and talk about your personality and those values. So artificial intelligence is actually helping us. 3D, 3D imaging, being able to bring a product to life before it's ever out there. We work with cadavers and we actually do augmented reality for training. So that's part of your marketing strategies because we get to teach our teams how to market by using those products. So Fifth and Core has two different departments, but that are very closely weaved together. Everyone is looking at experiences. So Fifth and Core really focuses on both sides of that because they kind of feed into each other.
How do you manage all of that? I mean, you're doing this, you're doing your personal brand, you're doing speaking, you're doing consulting. What what helps you to like keep all of this organized and keep all this going?
I have a good team. And I said it before, I have a great team. If you are riding or dying on me, like if something happens, I get hit by the lottery bus tomorrow, my company will still go on because I have great people and those great people hire great people underneath of them. You cannot move up in our organization till you have moved someone else underneath of you. So don't come and ask, when are you moving up? I'll say, who have you educated enough to do your role so that you can move into a new role? And I think that relationship is why we're having such rapid growth and why we're being able to bring in new people. And I have to say this, we brought in PR a few years ago, and I was like, I know nothing about PR, nothing about PR. And it was someone's dream to bring in PR. And I said, then go ahead, bring it in, develop a team. And I allowed her to do that. I have another one that actually brought in partnerships, and she started with me 2.5 years ago. I can't remember. Lexi started our partnership program, and she was like, what am I going to be doing? I was like, I have no idea. No idea, but let's grow this. And now she has a whole team underneath of her. And so I guess we look for people who are hungry, who want to grow something, and who want to own something at the end.
I mean, that's a really good way to build a business is betting on the jockey and not the horse.
Yeah.
You find somebody who has the right culture fit and the right motivation and the right uh, drive and the right skill set and watch what they can build.
Can we talk about culture?
Let's talk about culture.
Okay. So culture, everyone thinks I dictate culture. No. And you don't need to have a culture fit. You bring your own culture, bring your own flavor to our team. Culture is what you make of it. So if you want to celebrate a Thanksgiving, then let's do a Thanksgiving. If you want to start a PR department, then let's start a PR department. I will ride or die with you. Culture is who you bring it in. I don't ever want it to be dictated by me. It should be the breath and heartbeat of from our interns all the way up. And it needs to come from the intern level all the way up.
For somebody who looks at culture as like a top down thing, what do you think is the difference when somebody makes that mindset shift?
I didn't like what people used to tell me that culture had to be.
Mm.
I hated that. I hated going in there and be like, our culture. And I'm like, okay, who cares? Your culture is going to change. You change as a human. There's some days that you're super fit. There's some days that you're healthy. There's a culture changes. As you bring in new team members, they're going to bring a different perspective of life. We have 6 fluent languages spoken on our team, And so of course they're going to bring their home culture into us and we're going to grow it as a company that way. And if it was just coming from me, I'm one person. It needs to come and be infused by others.
So it sounds like a company should really be more like a melting pot.
It should be a melting pot and it should be agile and fluid.
Love that. On that same note, somebody who's a founder and somebody who's an owner, or even somebody who's an individual contributor on a team,
Uh-huh.
one of the things that we hear about a lot is the dreaded imposter syndrome.
Oh my gosh. I fight it every day. Fought it getting here. Which outfit? Went through 6 different, I brought more clothes to Utah than any normal person should. You know why? Because I was worried about the imposter syndrome hits you so hard. And you have to surround yourself with good people who encourage you, who get your butt in check, who tell you to be better. That is what you have to do. And you have to constantly check yourself. Imposter syndrome doesn't go away though. It does not. And the more you're up on the stage, you're like, sometimes I'll look out in the lights and I'll be like, what am I doing up here? Why are they asking me? And it's something that's real, and you have to get through it. Find other people. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll do coffee or cocktails over via Zoom, and we'll talk about it because it is so real.
I mean, I always thought I asked a colleague once who's been doing this for a long time. I was like, "Does it ever get better?" And she's like, "You get better."
You get better. It doesn't get better. And it hits you at the worst times. You'll be like walking right over to that stage and you're ready to go up and you're like, oh my gosh, it hit me. It's the weirdest times that it hits you.
How have you do your clients run into this too?
Oh my gosh, so much. I had a client FaceTime me. It was 11 o'clock at night. I was in bed and I was like, FaceTime, okay, this is going through the same thing. And I take that moment to be like, you're not alone. Do you need me to get a flight? Let's deal with this together because the world seems like it's ending. I had a restaurant who had to go through COVID. I mean, talk about like when you're putting your heart, your money, your homes on the line sometimes, everything hits you. Emotions are so high. And sometimes the people, your family doesn't even understand what you're going through. And so, yeah, imposter syndrome becomes extremely real. And so pick up that phone. That's why I said find good people. Find good people who have you in check.
But surrounding yourself with the right community, the right tribe, the right like not only your team that supports you, but also advisors and consultants and mentors to really make it so that a journey like entrepreneurship that could be incredibly lonely is
Oh,
less lonely. Never gonna be not
it's so
lonely.
lovely. A new level comes in and it unlocks all new things that you didn't even know about. You're like, well, if I can just get that one employee, you get one employee, you're like, wait, hold please. I have an employee. What am I supposed to do with my employee? Then you get to 10 employees. Then you get to 15 employees and you're like, wait, hold please. I need an HR department now. You're learning constantly and it becomes very hard. You become isolated because, you know, I'm home for 6 days, 1 month. That was it. That was the only amount of time I was home in my house. So you lose touch. That's why I say find good people who are not yes people, who actually say, what is wrong with you? Or, hey, push this way, or take a moment and go spend time with your family.
We've talked about a lot of issues and we've talked a lot about a lot of opportunities. What are some things that are going well in healthcare right now?
The industry is growing rapidly. And I think we need to, and there's been a shift. People are taking their own health, people sitting there saying, I need to take my health as a priority. I need to take my family's health as a priority. People are starting to educate themselves. And we're seeing a shift. And, we were actually just doing trends in Dallas. And we were just talking to a group that we were out there literally 2 weeks ago in Dallas. And we were saying there's a trend of people are getting their weight down. We've all seen it. Ozempic, people are talking about that. But what's the ripple? It's about to be a $23 billion industry this year. So we're seeing a shift. Well, what comes with that? Now people are working out more. Now people are eating better food. People are looking at what comes with the Ozempic phase. Okay, what happened was now all of a sudden you might have liver or kidney things. So people are taking the infusions now and they're taking them to a next level. People are more educated, and that's why if you're a doctor or you're a practice, you need to be out there communicating and showing value.
What are your tips for people that are either just getting started or kind of in the middle of their journey, grinding through it?
Okay, so I say it's like a workout program. You don't jump into a marathon. You don't jump into CrossFit, right? You're not going in there every single day. You warm up. So that's how you should start into your marketing strategy. If you're just starting out right now, come up with a calendar. I'm going to spend this amount of time working on my marketing and getting my message out there. And marketing could be personal branding. It could be your company's branding. It could be educating your employees. Marketing is something across different for every single practice. Come up with a calendar and then come up with a cadence. Stick with that cadence. If you're going to work out twice a week, work out twice a week. Do it for a whole month. If you're going to work out 3 times a week, make sure you're doing it 3 times a week. And then dedicate one day to getting all of that content. If you're trying to think of something every day, you're going to have that little hamster burnout phase where you're just running on that hamster run. You're like, I'm so tired. Do one day. I say, sit down at your breakfast, clear your head, and say, I'm going to come up with content. These are the topics I'm going to talk about for this month. This is how many times I'm going to talk about those topics. And this is what the content's going to look like. And do that all in one bucket of a day. And you're going to have a great strategy to get you through that month.
You brought up burnout. It's on a lot of
Yes.
people's minds right now. Is this something that you're seeing a lot of people run into? And if so, what are some strategies that you've seen?
Burnout is extreme this year. And I want to talk about that. Burnout is a real thing. What I say is come up with a strategy. We're in Q3 right now. Go into Q4 planning. How are you going to execute? How are you going to hit your goals? anyone can do something for the next 90 days. So ramp up. And you have all of September to get your act together for October, November, and December, because that's really going to take your business to it. And if you put it in bite sized pieces, it's so much easier to do.
Give me an example of someone that took like a big problem and chunked it into bite-sized pieces.
I want to use my own company.
Let's use your own company.
We have looked at everything as in 90-day segments. So we break it and then we break those down in 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days. So our team will say, here's our sales goal for 30 days. But also we do a personal goal and a professional goal. So I'm going to drink a gallon of water for the next 30 days, and I'm going to hit this quota in my sales team. And we talk about them openly with our team. I'm going to work out every day, and I'm also going to do this in our marketing strategy for our company. So we take personal and professional goals and we get really, really like dialed into those. I did 75 hard. And so once I did 75 hard, I was like, I can do this in my business. And so we really, really focus on making those bite-sized pieces. We'll start something. At 60 days, we're going to evaluate, 30 days, we're going to look at it and go, okay, what do we get from that? 60 days, let's optimize it. 90 days, hey, is this something that we should keep doing? And so by the end of the 90 days, maybe we need to switch our goals. And that's in quarters. And every business should do that.
Because strategy should never be set in stone.
No, sit down and put everything in bite-sized pieces. Know that you want to grow. Some people say, what do you want to do 5 years from now? I'm like, I don't know. Let's focus on this quarter, get through this quarter so that we know what we want to be for the first part of next year.
Coming to the end of this interview, we've gone over a ton of different things, and I look forward to the next time where we can maybe go a little bit deeper into some of these. When you look back to when you were in Nashville,
Hmm.
right, kind of at the beginning of this journey, what do you know now that you wish you knew then?
Oh, what I know now, find good people. And I mean that in hire good people. Be okay to fire quickly because it will make or break you. Um, the one thing I really wish I would have known is how lonely this journey could be and how much I needed a community way sooner than I thought I did. So find a good community.
On that note, how can people find you?
Okay, you can go on LinkedIn. It's Robin Dimond, spelled Dimond, no A in Diamond. Go on LinkedIn. I always do this. I always say coffee or cocktails. I don't care what time of day it is. We can do them virtual or in person. We post every city that we're flying to, so I love to meet people. I love doing that. I'm a foodie, so let's join it for food because that's really how we get to know. But LinkedIn, or they can go to our website, which is fifth, FIFTH, and COR.com. And we'd love to connect with you.
Well, on that note, I hope everybody goes and visits you and learns more about the things, the great stuff that you have going on there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I've loved this conversation.
It's been amazing.
And thank you to each of you who joined us and listened in and watched along. And until next time, stay happy. Take care.